Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Star Trek, the original series, Season 3, Episode 8. It's called For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky. Can I just say I love that title?
That's pretty good, actually.
I love it so much. It reminds me of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which was a video game based on a Harlan Ellison story, I believe, who incidentally also wrote City on the Edge of Forever in Season 1 of
Hmm.
this. So, you know,
Yeah.
I wrote back
Okay.
round. I went out
Yeah.
for a tangent and then swiveled right back in.
Yeah, you really nailed that one.
That was a nice 180. So this is full spoilers as always for this Trek episode, and this one has about two things. One, McCoy diagnoses himself with a terminal illness. He's dying. He's got a year to live, and
Yeah.
I think it was a made up illness that's got a really long, complicated name. So I'm not even going to try and remember it. But he is dying. He's got a year to live, and elsewhere though they found this asteroid, or at least what they think's an asteroid at first is actually a ship that looks like an asteroid. And it's on a collision course for a planet that has got inhabitants. It's got 3 billion people on it, so it's okay, right? We can't let that happen. But when they get on the ship, on this asteroid ship, they find out that the people inside are unaware that they're on a ship. They think it's just a planet, and they have to try and figure out how to deal with this and how to change the course of the asteroid without breaking the Prime Directive. But if they can't, then they're just going to have to shoot it out the, I was going to say the sky, but the space. They're going to have to,
Yeah.
destroy it. They're going to have to just blow it up, because ultimately, a few thousand or however many people are on this ship versus 3 billion on this planet is kind of a no-brainer. So
Yeah.
that's and also McCoy kind of falls in love with the leader of these people. So for once, it's not Kirk who's getting the romance subplot.
No, it's been quite shared out this season, hasn't it?
Yes.
The Chekhovs. Okay, now we got a McCoy.
Yeah. Very, especially for me, because at least Chekhov is always a horn dog, whereas McCoy, it's almost like it's not that he's not interested, but he just never shows an interest. He never makes any comments. He never,
Yeah.
outside of that one awkward, really weird, sexist moment in the,
Yeah. Couple episodes ago.
yeah, the dinner scene where they were all talking about how she was the most beautiful person ever on the ship. That scene, a couple of lines in there were a bit weird, but otherwise something we don't see McCoy do as much. So I'll ask the question that I usually ask. We had a pretty decent episode last time. How did you feel about this one?
It's not great. It's not awful. There are some ideas in it I really like, but it kind of just takes some leaps just to make it work.
Do you know what? This episode frustrated me a lot because I liked the title and I thought, ooh, okay, this title sounds good. And then I jumped in and I thought, oh, McCoy's dying. That's going to have a lot of good emotional beats. And then I liked the idea of a generational ship where they don't even know they're on a ship. So far, I'm digging all these ideas. I'm digging everything it's doing. And then it just does kind of a few normal generic Star Trek things. And when I say normal, I mean the bad stuff where it's primitive culture sort of tropes. There's a little bit of that, and then the whole idea where they've got this essentially the computer's or the ship's AI is the Oracle, and it's like it commands them all and like punishes them and makes them feel pain if they try and question the orders, and that's kind of what's enforcing not knowing that they're on a ship. And I was okay, right? So you've got this thing, and I don't hate it as much as I normally do because I'm like, all right, there's at least more in the basis here that I find interesting. That the idea that it is like generations on a ship, and the
I
idea
think
that
it's the idea that they're just elements of the episode rather than the premise.
yeah, it's just built into the concept. But I was thinking, okay, right. So I'm curious, why are they being lied to? What is the purpose of this machine? Why is it keeping them in the dark? And it never even questions it, never mind answers it or explores it.
Yeah, it's a disappointment. It's not even like it's not that bad because, like I said, there's things it does that are
Oh yeah,
frustrating, like you say.
I think this is easily on the upper tier of this season. Take out the one or two ones we actually really liked, right? And you look at the rest. This is probably up top.
Yeah,
It's better than the gun one. It's better than the kid one. It's better than Spock's brain for damn sure. Like out of all the not good episodes, this is easily the best one. It's got the most potential, but just
I think it's the
falters.
most frustrating though because it has so much potential and it just doesn't do anything with any of the ideas. Like McCoy being ill, it never really does anything
No,
of note with it.
The one moment I really love is when Kirk has to tell Spock, and then McCoy finally, because they've all been knocked out, the Oracle's knocked them all out, and when McCoy finally wakes up, he has to admit, oh, by the way, Spock knows, and there's this moment of silence, as he doesn't know how to react to Spock knowing. It's like, does Spock care? Like, he almost looks hurt that Spock might not care because he's so logical and he's not as human as he is.
Yeah.
And there's like a real genuine little character beat there that I really liked. The thing is, though, at the start of the episode when they said, okay, I've got a terminal illness, and like I like the whole thing where just the simple little things like, Kirk having to say in his log, oh, I had to inform Starfleet and I've requested a replacement. Unfortunate news. The idea of dealing with this was interesting at first. My instant worry, though, my instant fear, as soon as we got this plot thread starting at the start of the episode, was that this is probably going to be solved by the end of the episode, and I can't fathom how I'm going to be satisfied by that.
Yeah, I had the exact same feeling.
Because even if whatever you encounter here either has the medicine to cure you, which it kind of does, like they find like the original people who built this ship have had a lot of knowledge. They've got it all stored in banks, so that when this colony finally get to this planet they're going to, they can use the information and like build society for themselves again. That's what it turns out to be. But whether it was going to be that, or whether it was going to be like just a byproduct of something they did to him on this alien ship.
Yeah, it was going to be like, oh, there's some sort of being that cures as a side effect, whatever.
Yeah. And my problem with that is it just makes the whole thing feel frivolous. I mean, the characters are acting at first like it's a big deal, but by just cueing it by the end, it's like, well, I mean, I guess I'll give them credit and say it was just a cure for this specific disease that they didn't have a cure for, as opposed to he was surely dead, by any rights.
Right.
Because I feel like I've also, maybe not specifically Star Trek, but I feel like this is exactly the sort of time where I'd expect the show to pull like, no, he's actually dying, like his brain's been cut out, but luckily.
Yeah,
luckily
no, I'm with you.
There's a Deus
It's
Ex
not
Machina
quite
to
that
solve
extreme.
it.
It's a disease that doesn't have any symptoms yet, not really.
Yeah.
Like, the knockout affects him a bit more. But other than that, he's perfectly capable still.
Yeah.
So
it's not as extreme as that. So it's not as eye rolling, but it is still just kind of obviously Star Trek's episode by episode. But this is the kind of thing where I would have loved it to last like 5 or 6 episodes.
It's the sort of thing as well that you could see this. Okay, you're introducing this now in the season. You barely even need to bring it up again, but you bring it up at the end of the season and be like, okay, if you want to write him out the show for whatever reason, if he wanted off the show, for example.
I think just going for a while and then maybe having them like get the whiff of the idea that there is something actually that could cure him, and then go hunting for it would feel a lot more earned and make it feel like it was difficult. Whereas here it's just, oh, it just so happens they've got a lot of medical knowledge on this ship. Let's have a look through here. Oh, they've got a cure for McCoy's thing.
This incurable thing, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's convenient, wasn't it? Aye.
It was.
And it's the sort of thing where logically you can say, well, there's nothing illogical about this. Like, okay, so this race might have a cure for this, blah, 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 blah. It's just from a storytelling perspective, it feels very cheap. It feels very easy.
It's very convenient, isn't it?
Yeah. So that'd be a complaint. Let's point out that McCoy does get married to this woman. I keep wanting to say Natiri, because that's the character from Avatar, but it's Natira. There's an A at the end.
I could not have told you that was the character in Avatar.
So he's actually married, and in the end, she's not dead. Like, because when Kirk get married like 5 episodes ago, the wife was dead at the end. She got stoned, if you recall that. She's still alive, and she's like, oh, I'm going with my people, and we're going to arrive at the planet in a year. And he's like, well, maybe I'll come see you around it. And Kirk's even like, we could just happen to be around that planet, come a year's time, and maybe you can go see how they get on. So he's got a wife. He's actually got a wife that's alive and is out there now.
Yes, this is a proper wife thing, not just a sham for an episode.
And
we're probably never going to see her again, but it counts.
Yeah, and to be fair, there was no trickery. He didn't have amnesia. He genuinely had feelings for her, and obviously in traditional TV from the 60s form, they meet for like a minute and they're in love, and it's just get married. But
yeah, this is very much though a case of, okay, he was ill, he thought he was dying. It was like, oh no, okay, I'll just almost take what I can get. It's like, oh, this is the first woman he comes across almost.
Oh, well, I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. It's just, it feels a bit sweeter than that.
No, don't get me wrong. There is a connection, but it is
Yeah.
to an extent. It's like, because all the women he's seen over the season, with Kirk and and everyone else romancing
I,
away, and he's
I,
never been interested.
I don't think it's that. So, I mean, you could argue that maybe he's more open to the idea of a relationship because of the thing.
I think it is.
I think it's, but I don't think it's just, oh, she'll do because she's into me. I don't think it's that. I think it's he's got a year left because that's actually probably the most interesting part from a character perspective of the episode is when he's telling Spock that he's going to stay and Spock just doesn't understand. It's not logical. You've got a year to live. Why are you going to? It's like, well, here's kind of paradise. I could be happy with her and just like enjoy my last year and be
Okay,
here.
I think maybe not "she'll do" was the right phrase. I was a bit frivolous, a little bit extreme,
Yeah.
but more the idea of when he's not ill, he never takes any interest at all. Right? He's very professional for the most part. Whereas here is like, well, I've only got a year. I kind of might as well look into this now. Like I might, I might as well consider my options now. Whereas before, he doesn't
Well,
even think about
you
it.
could
'Cause
almost
it's
tie
just
it
on his
into.
duty.
We've talked about it with Kirk before. The idea that he's always put off relationships, even though he has all these little flings. He's always put off having a proper relationship because he's career, he's Starship
Yeah.
Captain. That's his thing. You could almost say the same about McCoy, where now he thinks he's only got so much time left that he's realised, oh wait, I've kind of not pursued this like
Exactly.
my
Yeah.
life, and now that's just how I want to do my last year because and blah blah blah. So that is the most interesting thing of the episode. The actual relationship between them, I mean, just whatever.
It's very standard, isn't it?
Very standard. You don't really necessarily care about her, feel anything for her much. She's a character who's introduced just to serve the plot what it needs, and that's
Pretty
about
much,
it. There's,
yeah.
there's not really much more to her than that. So it is a shame that it's a lot of really nice ideas in here. It's just maybe one too many, because I feel like you could have had this plot without the McCoy dying aspect. Just have the asteroid, the people on the thing, and make it be about solving that problem.
Yeah, it feels like two separate episodes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then you can have an episode about McCoy being sick and dealing with that. You could have easily got 2 episodes out of this, and maybe you could have given them both a bit more time, a bit more development, and
I think that's it. It doesn't go far enough with either of its ideas, does it? It kind
Yeah.
of presents the ideas, does a couple of little things with them, and then that's it. They're just like, okay, end of the episode.
and frustratingly, the little things it does with both are quite good. And he's like, "Oh, we can do things with this," and then I'd say the entire second half of the episode is just kind of a string of, "Okay, we're just doing that. Okay, we're just doing that. Okay, we're just solving it this way. All right, fine, we're done."
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's basically the second half of the episode, which is a shame. But it's definitely not terrible. It's not the worst by any means. I do want to point out the outfits that this race of people are wearing when they first show up. It's meant to be like samurai robes almost, but they're checkered, so they just look like they're bathrobes or pajamas
much.
even,
Yeah,
and they look a little bit silly. I'm just
they do,
on there.
yes. But that's par for the course, right? Silly costumes.
Absolutely. I don't necessarily critique the set design or whatever too much because it's the 60s. It looks how it is. We don't go into that. There's no point every time. But I do think the Oracle's monolith with the star on it looked particularly shoddy. I thought the star it was just a bit of paper that was stuck onto it.
It did look cheaper than usual. I think we can criticize the set design in comparison to its usual standard.
Exactly, yeah. I'm saying that this is below the standard that the show's actually had, because this legitimately looks like something out of if I'm making a student film, and I have done in the past, where you'd stick a logo on something.
It does,
felt
yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
as opposed to professional hands making it look a bit more, real.
Yeah,
and,
some of the things have actually looked, crafted and good.
yeah. Whereas that's not quite so much.
It's
But,
this was like, yeah, that'll do. Yeah, just stick that in the corner.
yeah. Yeah, we also end rather abruptly as well because they're all laughing. Oh, I'm cured! Ah, ha, ha, ha. And then it cuts to a wide shot of the ship again, and the credit comes up.
Been doing that a lot this season.
It has, yeah. They've been really exiting
I'm
hard.
missing my end banter.
Yeah, that's a shame. Because we could have had a touch. Imagine a little scene here at the end where Spock comes in after everyone else leaves the room, right? But Spock sort of turns back and comes in, and like has a little private moment where he says, "I'm glad you're not dead," or something to that effect, like, in a very Spock way. Like,
I think even just, because often it is McCoy and Spock jabbing at each other,
Yeah.
right, in these end scenes. Even just one of those jabs would have felt nice. It would have felt
Yeah.
friendly. It's like, oh no, this is normal, right?
Yeah, you
'cause
say
it's
we're back
friendly
to
jabbing, isn't it?
yeah, back to normality. Or what? Yeah, what if Spock? It was Spock that made the jab, and obviously he's made jabs before, but he makes it in just a bit more of a human way. Like, just it's like he cracks more of a joke directly.
Yeah, yeah.
Because whereas the Spock, when he's jabbing back, it's usually very logical and just very kind of, it's like there's almost a hint of humor in it sometimes, but obviously it's kind of almost
Very
unintentional.
dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can almost see, McCoy's like, I'm cured, and then he makes a jab at Spock, and Spock's like, yep, he's cured.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in this episode. Unfortunately, just kind of whiffs on a lot of it in the second half, which is a shame.
Yeah,
But hey.
it's disappointing.
But hey, so there you go. That is for the world is hollow and I have touched the sky, which is obviously a line that one character says when he's like, "Oh, I broke the rules. I climbed the mountain and I realized I was in the Truman Show." So, what's happening? Tell us what's happening. So, no, very, very interesting. Very interesting episode, even if it is kind of ultimately a failure. So, there you go. So, that is episode 8 of Star Trek Season 3. We're recording a lot of these in advance, actually. We're recording episodes 4 through 8 now. Have all been recorded in the space of about a week and a half, because we're stacking them up because things are about to get very busy for everything else TV wise in April. That you need to know. I'm just letting you know how hectic it has been trying to keep all this on track. But yeah, so that's episode 8 of Star Trek. Back with episode 9. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, over at patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You get these Star Trek reviews a week early at the $1 tier if that interests you, or whatever else. But you can get a link to that in the description. And that is us. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching Star Trek, guys, and we'll see you next time.